Hello parents, I wanted to make a quick video to explain the report cards and kind of what all this information means. So you'll notice this is the front page. There's lots of information on here. Some people have told me that they've had a problem looking at it on their phones, so make sure you have a device that can easily play a PDF. So one of the first things you want to notice is over here the mastery levels. It's either a 1, 2, 3, or 4. Think of a 4 as an entire grade level above. So for us, that would be working at a 3rd grade level. 3 is proficient, that means right on grade level. 2 is a basic, which means either they can do it sometimes, but not all the time, or they can do it if they get, let's say, help from a teacher. And then 1 is below basic, which is they've never been able to do it, or they can only do it with help from a teacher all the time. You'll also notice down here days absent and percent of days present, and then you'll also notice the work habits. Again, that's the 1, 2, 3, or 4. Okay, so if you start at the top, there's math, there's language arts, there's social studies, and then there's science. Below that are all the special classes of music, PE, and art. Grades for specials come out 2nd quarter and 4th quarter, so you'll notice some of these might be blank because there's only grades for 4th quarter and for 2nd quarter. So if you come back up here, this sample report is for math, and it says 60%. That means out of all the Common Core standards for math, the ones that I've assessed for this quarter and for this year, 60% of them are at a proficient or at advanced. That's that 3 or that 4. You can see quarter 1, quarter 2, and quarter 3, and you can compare the differences. Same thing down here for language arts. Out of all of the standards for quarter 3, this student had 100% in proficient or advanced. Proficient is green, advanced is blue, basic is yellow, and below basic is red. Again, same thing for social studies, and same thing for science. Down here, you'll notice my comments, but for this instance, I blocked them out. Okay, then the next couple pages, I know this is where it can get kind of confusing. What the report card did is they listed every single Common Core standard for math, social studies, science, ELA, specials, all of them. They listed every standard out. So it can really give you specifics about how your child is doing. Over here, these are where the standards are. So for language arts, if it's an RL, that means reading literature. Those are your fiction stories. RI would be reading information. So that's why you might see the same, looks like the same standard repeated twice. And that's why some grades are different. Some might have a 3 and some might have a 2. It's because 1 is reading literature, 1 is reading informational. You'll also notice SL, which is speaking and listening, and W means writing. So there's different standards, and it's the same for math. Some are for measurement, some for algebraic things. You just have to really look at the standard, and if you have any questions, please let me know. Over here is when you'll notice that this standard, the 4, 3, 2, or 1 grade. So for this instance, the standard was reading literature 2.1, which the standard means asking and answering questions such as who, what, where, when, why, and understanding key details. So for the sample report, the student got a 4 during quarter 1, a 2 during quarter 2, and then a 3 during quarter 3. You might ask, well, why is my student going down or going up? Part of the reason is because the assessment and the test are getting harder. So if they got a 4, let's say quarter 1, and then they went down, some of that might be because the text level is getting more challenging. The texts get longer and harder as the years go on. So that's why they can go up or down. If there's not a grade there, which means it was not assessed that quarter. So some of these were not put in during quarter 1, they were just put in quarter 3, or some they're all year long, or some are just 1 quarter specific. So that's why some of them are filled out and some of them are not. If you have any questions, please feel free to let me know. Hopefully this explains a little bit more. But yeah, double check over here to make sure that it's reading informational, reading literature. Here's all the standards, and then a 4, 3, 2, or 1. If you look back up here, This does not mean that they're 60% learned all of the standards. It just means 60% of what we've taught they've mastered. So hopefully that helps a little bit more. Like I said, please let me know if you have any questions.